Hey guys, what's going on? Blaine back for another Netflix review, and today I'm going to be talking about The Atom Project. The Atom Project is an American sci-fi movie that tells the story of Adam Reed, or more specifically two versions of Adam Reed, the first of whom is a pilot who travels from the future to the year 2022, where he meets his second counterpart in the form of an ordinary middle school student and warns him of a catastrophic future event. Time travel would be controlled in such a way that it creates a dystopian future, so the two Adams work together to find a way to prevent time travel from being invented altogether, while also coming to terms with their past mistakes and making up for them. Time travel is one of those concepts that's always been a bit iffy for me in its execution, but in this case it's pulled off fairly well. The movie doesn't exactly say or show anything new in this area, but it's still an entertaining watch, and it helps that it's largely carried by the performances of its two leads. Ryan Reynolds stars in the lead role of the future version of Adam, and more or less maintains the same personality as he has in most of his recent movies. Even though they can be excessive at times, his casual sarcasm and great line delivery still hold up well, and lighten the mood when the movie needs it. He also has a good dramatic arc which parallels that of his younger self. He travels back in time so that he can find his wife who went missing and is clearly affected by her loss. It's a bit basic in its approach, but it does raise the stakes of the story beyond being a typical save the world narrative, and Reynolds' performance makes it work. The same can also be said for the younger Adam as well. This version is less sarcastic and more angsty compared to the future version, as he struggles to cope with the death of his father, gets picked on by bullies at school, and regularly suffers from asthma attacks. Although annoying at first, I came to sympathize with this Adam over the course of the story, and even though he can be overbearing, it was enjoyable to see him geek out over the future Adam's pieces of tech, and even being helpful with it later on, so he doesn't end up being just some kid who tags along for the journey. The two Adams have great chemistry together. They exchange a lot of funny banter, which is what comprises most of the comedy. I won't reveal much of the running gags in it, but it's the kind of lighthearted fare that you'd expect from any other PG-13 action-adventure flick, which is always fun to experience. They also complement each other well outside of the comedy. Future Adam tells his younger self that he needs to be more respectful of their mother, while present Adam tells his older self that he doesn't remember how their father used to be and that he needs to stop being so resentful of him. The best part about this dynamic is that it doesn't result in any long-standing beef between the two that would cause them to break up and inevitably reunite. The movie plays its cards straight and uses their differences to create tension between the two that forces them to learn from their mistakes without resorting them to split up. While I like how these characters change over time, I find the sudden shifts in tone between scenes to be pretty jarring. One moment the two Adams will be laughing and joking about something, and a few seconds later it'll cut to a dramatic monologue complete with a sappy soundtrack playing in the background. Not only does this happen quite a bit, but some of these monologues go on for a really long time. Having the two Adams sit around and mope about things is fine to an extent, and the movie does have its heart in the right place when it comes to these moments, but it does disrupt the pacing of the story the more it occurs. Some of the melodrama does carry over to the supporting characters, who thankfully aren't quite as depressing as the leads, though part of that may be due to their lack of screen time, which is kind of a shame considering the talent that's present here. All of them make good use of the screen time they do have though. Jennifer Garner gives a great performance as the younger Adam's frustrated mother, who has to put up with having a brat of a son while trying to live her own life, and she has one of the more meaningful dramatic moments that help me become more invested in the story. Mark Ruffalo gives a solid performance as Adam's father as well, who meets the pair as they travel in time together. He pretty much has the same personality as he did as Bruce Banner in the MCU movies, especially with his character being a scientist, but he's still a welcome presence to tag along with the pair, as he's one of the few people in the movie who can properly understand time travel. Zoe Saldana portrays future Adam's wife Laura, and as with the other supporting characters, is a bit underused, but she is a welcome addition to the crew nonetheless, adding more dramatic heft to her narrative due to her relationship with the future Adam, as well as being a badass in the action scenes. These action scenes are few in number, which is disappointing, but there's still a lot of fun where they count. A variety of them are featured at least, ranging from car chases to aerial dogfights to classic brawls, and all of them are bombastic in presentation, with stylistic use of color palettes and creative cinematography. The lightsaber scenes were probably my favorite part of the action, partly because of the flashy particle effects that pop up when enemies are killed with it, partly because it's used with some of the most entertaining fight choreography in the whole movie, and partly because it becomes a great running gag between the two Adams. I just loved everything about the lightsaber. I have to be honest and admit that I didn't understand everything surrounding the time travel aspect of the story. I do like that it's simplified compared to other movies I've seen revolve around this concept, but every now and then characters will throw out terminology that doesn't make a lot of sense. sense. It's weird because present Adam is able to more or less understand everything that future Adam tells him about time travel, which I found hard to believe since I was having a hard time making sense of what was coming out of characters' mouths myself. Furthermore, the villain Maya Sorian's plot is never fully explained. I can't understand her having control of whatever she wants through time travel, and Catherine Keener does a good job in the role, but it's never shown what kind of dystopian future she created. So aside from her responsibility involving Laura's disappearance, it's hard to empathize with Adam's struggles in this regard. This being said, one can get a general sense of what's happening in the story as it goes along. It doesn't have anything in the way of originality, which is unfortunate, but it also means that one knows what to expect when watching it, so there's no surprises or twists that can turn the movie upside down, and with a 90-minute runtime, it doesn't outstay its welcome. Overall, The Adam Project is an average run-of-the-mill sci-fi flick that won't blow anyone's minds, but as pure entertainment and nothing else, it does its job well enough. If you like big-budget sci-fi adventure movies and you're looking for one that's anchored by a charismatic lead, I think this movie would be right up your alley. There's not much else I can say about it due to its derivative nature, but being derivative isn't always a bad thing. With Ryan Reynolds' screen presence, the action set pieces, and the general charm of the story, it's intriguing enough to be enjoyed as decent Friday movie night watch material. What did you think about this movie? Did you enjoy Ryan Reynolds' performance and the fun nature of its story, or did you find it boring due to its unoriginal presentation? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap up my review of The Adam Project. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always stay tuned for the next part, where next time I review the Disney Pixar film, Turning Red. Bye bye!